So we were discussing about performance evaluation of performance measurement, different cost centers. So we discussed the profit centers. We can calculate some profitability margin based on controllable profit. That managers are responsible only for cost and revenue. Both they are responsible for cost and revenue. Then we move to the investment centers where managers are responsible for cost, revenue, that means the profit, and the assets. So then there are three measurements we can use to evaluate the performance of the investment center. One is return on investment, controllable profit divided by the divisional assets. Then residual income from the profit, controllable profit, you deduct the capital charges. Third one, economic value added. I think that is where we had the discussion, and did we calculate that some activity too? Economic value added activity is not even here. Another need activity 2 activity 2 we started, and activity 2 we had the residual income. Right? Activity 2 we complete the residual income. So in this activity we calculate the residual income. So residual income calculation, what we get the controllable profit, right? The residual income equal controllable profit minus capital charges. So the controllable profit for a investment center, income tax is not a controllable profit for managers, divisional managers. That is the government rule, right? We don't have any control over the income tax, any manager. So that is totally uncontrollable. You should not consider when you are calculating any responsibility center profit income tax. So we have to start with the before tax profit, right? Before tax profit, that is 128. Then the interest for the finance charges. So these investment center managers are responsible for assets, income, expenses. That means financing decision is not come under their responsibility. Right? They will decide we need these assets for this business. So financing normally done by the central finance team of the business. Right? That means finance charge is not a controllable cost to the even investment center bank or even profit center bank. Right? Even in profit centers, we calculate operating profit, controllable profit without finance charges. Right? Finance charges, other thing is you cannot allocate to a division. And this is arbitrary allocation of finance charges. Because you normally finance for the company, You don't finance for a branch or division, right? So, so finance charges 15 uncontrollable we have add. So that is why we get, in other words, here we get operating profit, right? When you add back finance charges profit before tax, that is EBIT, earning before interest and tax, that is operating profit. Here in this example, that is controllable, but you can be given some other expenses which are not controllable by the manager. Some operating expenses which we have deduct, if it is not come under control of the manager, like the building rent, if the building is rented by the head office and charge is decided by the head office, that is not controllable to the manager. Right? If the employees are recruited by centrally by the head office HR division and allocated to the divisions, then that employees are also not controllable to the divisional manager. So if you have any expense that is deducted in this profit, you have added, right? But here we have operating profit and we have some non-cash expenses information, and you are not given anything including this operating expense, operating profit, uncontrollable expense. So we can assume all that are controlled by the manager. So only we are adding this. Then capital charges. So you take the capital charges based on the capital structure. We have interest 15%, right? 15 interest, but that we have take net of tax. So that means we have to calculate capital charges investment into weighted average cost of capital. Right? We have to calculate the weighted average cost of capital. We had this in the week before, right? Last. So that can you see the weighted average cost of capital calculation? You are given cost of equity 15%, and you are given the standard capital structure of the company. Company may take 75% equity, 25% debt. So we calculate the weighted average cost of capital, equity 15%, from that 0.75 plus debt interest rate given 10%, and interest is tax deductible expense. You have to leave the tax portion, right? You learn this in corporate finance, right? You have the corporate finance subjects. You learn about this weighted average cost of capital. I don't know whether you come to that level, right? So it's the lecture. But I think finance you have a little more lecture. So if you had the weighted average cost of capital in the finance, right? There you will learn that when you calculate the finance cost, interest you have to take net of tax. Right? We take the weighted average cost of capital, all the finance sources net of tax. So equity, no tax, right? Equity you can use some model like capital asset pricing model, right? So you learn that in your finance subject. Then that is 15% that is given, cost of equity 15%, so 0.75 weight. Right, that is out of the total finance of the business, 75% is equity, 25% is debt. That is the capital structure. Then interest is 10% that is given. So you take, remove the tax, 1 minus T tax rate, 30%, so multiplied by 0.7 and into 25% of the 0.25, right? Weight take a 0.25. The percentage එක නිකුත් මේක පැටලෙන නිසා මම weight එක decimal වලින් කරා, right? මේක අදාළව 35 right? 0.75 and 0.25, that's the weight, right? How much equity, how much debt? හතරෙන් 3යි හතරෙන් 1යි, right? So when you take that weighted average cost of capital is 13%. මේකේ උත්තරේ එනවා 13%. Multiplied by the investment. Investment, that is the total asset. The total asset, here we have in the question the year end. Now there is a small difference between when calculating this capital charges for residual income and economic value added. That is why economic value added becomes little complex. Capital charges, you simply take the total asset end of the year, total investment, multiplied by the weighted average cost of capital. So here, total investment 500. Right, equity plus debt 500. So 500 into 13%. Here 143. So 143 minus 500 into 13%. To get 65. So we ended up with the residual income 78. Residual income 78. So that we had it in the last session, right? So let's see, stop at this point. Anyone answer? So this is activity 2, right? You need the both answers, so I will start with that. So I think those who join online, can hear me, right? Right. Then the economic value added, the next calculation, economic value added. Economic value added, we have to take, the formula is net operating profit after tax less capital charges. Right? Residual income වල කිව්වේ imputed interest කියලා. Just the different word, but it's the same thing. Right? මම එක capital charges කියලා ගත්තේ imputed interest, investment into cost of capital. Right? මේක interchangeably use කරන්න පුළුවන්. Right? හැබැයි මේ calculation එක පොඩි වෙනසක් තියෙනවා. දැන් මේක imputed interest නැත්නම් capital charges in residual income, investment is the total asset multiplied by cost of capital. Right? Then residual income calculation, you take net operating profit after tax less capital charges, where capital charges equal weighted average cost of capital, net asset at start of the period. Period එක මුල net assets තමයි base කරගන්නේ. එතන පොඩි වෙනසක් එනවා. Right? Right. Now first we need this net operating profit after tax. Right? Net operating profit after tax. So what is the net operating profit after tax formula? Profit after tax. Right? We can now simplify the lot. This is residual income. Then economic value added. Economic value added, net operating profit after tax minus capital charges. Right? So the net operating profit after tax equal profit before tax plus depreciation plus amortization plus non-cash expense, any other, plus R&D and advertising. Right? You can read that way. Right? Net operating profit after tax, profit before tax, plus depreciation, amortization, right? Then non-cash expense, R&D. Now here you take this goodwill amortized, right? That is amortization, goodwill, loan, intangible asset. Technically, in financial reporting, you know that now we don't amortize goodwill. That is the impairment. If it is impairment, still you can add back. So that is non-cash, right? So we are adding depreciation, amortization, non-cash expenses, research and development, R&D, and advertising. Right? There are non-cash, you can depreciation, amortization, and other non-cash expenses. So ඒවා cost එකක් විදිහට සලකන්නේ නැහැ operating profit එකේදී. Non-cash item. Then R&D and advertising we add back because we consider those are value adding. Right? Should not deduct in performance evaluation. Because here we consider all that expense incurred by a division to create value for the division, right? So if you consider them as expense for profit deduction, then the managers will demotivate to engage in R&D, right? So this is for internal performance evaluation purpose. So organization should encourage R&D and advertising. Advertising is one main way of creating the brand, establishing the brand, right? Positioning your product in customer mind, right? Brand awareness and loyalty you can create, especially brand awareness, positioning the product. Those are value creating activities. So you should not deduct them, right? So here you take the net operating profit after tax. So you start with profit. Make around PNA. Yeah. No. Net operating profit after tax. So what हम पठान ने net operating profit after tax. मतलब profit before tax में profit after tax. Net operating profit after tax. So the formula is not profit after tax, right? After tax, net operating profit after tax. Right. So මෙතන පොඩි inconsistency එකක් තියෙනවා residual income එකක්. Right? So මේකේ tax even though not controllable by the manager, you take that, but it will be compensated by adding back lot of expenses. Right? So we have started with profit after tax 89, right? Profit after tax 89.6. No, whether it was profit after tax 89.6. Add back the depreciation. Depreciation whenever දීලා නැහැ. Non cash expenses දීලා තියෙනවා 8, amortization 5. Right? What 8 and 5 can add back. Right? Then the finance expense, net finance cost, like we did in the previous one, which is uncontrollable to the divisional manager, you have to add back. So finance cost is 15, tax rate 30%. Now finance cost එක එකතු කරන්න වෙනවා. Finance charges, finance cost. Right? මේකේ R&D සහ advertising නැහැ මේ activity එකේ. හැම division එකකම නැති වෙන්න පුළුවන්. Right? Formula you should have that. Depreciation, amortization, non-cash expense, R&D and finance cost. Now profit before tax, after. Before tax කරලා finance cost එන්නේ නැහැ. Right? මේ revenue වලට නෙමෙයි ඒක. But we go ahead with the profit after tax one. Right? We had two approaches. If you remember last week I explained profit before tax ඕනනම් ගන්නත් පුළුවන්. Like before interest and tax කියලා අරගෙන interest එක නොසලකා හරිනවා. එහෙම නැත්නම් you go ahead with this one. So we use the first approach. We take after tax profit, right? So then that is finance cost 15, 1 minus 3. 15 into 0.7. Right? So 15 into tax 30%, 0.3 අඩු කරපුවාම 0.7 or 70%. So you are adding back 8, 5 and 10.5, 113.1. 113.1. Right? ඕන මෙතනම වෙන්නත් පුළුවන්. නැත්නම් වෙන වර්කින් එකක් වෙනවා 113. Right. Then the capital charges here. Now capital charges you should take net asset beginning of the period. So you are given capital employed at start of the year 470. Goodwill previously written off against the reserves in previous years 40. Now this is interesting since the profit calculation we are adding back some non-cash expenses, depreciation, amortization, those things. Right? So that means the profit is increased. If the profit is increased, the relevant asset base also adjusted appropriately. That means, now, beginning of the year, we have the asset 470, right? 470. But every year we are taking some depreciation, amortization, add back for the profit. Now, this is the 470, the capital employed at start of the year. Even only the goodwill amortized, goodwill written off. If you have depreciation, all that previously, that should add back. Because since the profit is added back, the depreciation amortization, what that means? That we assume there is no depreciation, no amortization, no non-cash expenses. So if there is no depreciation, asset base should increase by that depreciation. Right? If there is no amortization, asset should be increased by that. So previous written off amortization given 40. At the amortization term, depreciation, මොනවා හරි අදාළ depreciation amortization ඒවා ඒවා තියෙනවා right off කරලා. ඉතින් මේ concept එකට මේකේ එකක් දීලා තියෙනවා. Right? 40. So you take the beginning of the year net asset 510 multiplied by 13, the weighted average cost of capital 13%. into 13%. So here you take that is 66.3. So 113.1 minus 66.3. So you are getting 46.8. So two different bases, right? You should compare residual income of one division manager with residual income of another division manager. Economic value added of one division, one investment center with economic value added of another investment center. So independent hotel outlet, hotel located in different locations, operate as investment centers, right? Group of company which having the chain of hotels, right? So they hotel එකක් take a project එකක් headed by a particular manager. His proposal was implemented. So he is responsible for asset. So we take it as an investment center. So one is at Nigambo, right? Other one at Galle, right? Two investment centers, you are going to evaluate the performance. So you can use ROI of Galle and ROI of Nigambo. Then if you are taking economic value added of the Galle and economic value added of Nigambo. Then the value higher means the better, right? So residual income, you are taking residual income of Galle and residual income of Nigambo, right? So don't confuse that these are with the EV and residual income two different concepts, right? To use to evaluate the performance of investment sectors, right? The managers of investment. Got the point, right? So I told you that I started with this topic because this is relatively advanced, right? We make a topic here more simple, right? Ini level performa, basic overall samanya level iyan kata wage topic. Now make it make it practical, right? So that is something actually happening, right? Some advanced because should feel that the subject is having some advanced contents at the beginning, right? Okay. Is the concept clear? So the evaluation of economic value addition, you see that advantages calculate the return in line with the shareholders' expectation, maximizing the shareholders' wealth, right? මොකද අපි NPV positive එකක් ගත්තොත්, right? මෙතන ඒ කතාව වෙනවා residual income වගේම you take the because simply when you take this net operating profit after tax, we are adding non-cash expenses, amortization, depreciation and non-cash expenses. So it's more in line with the cash flows. Isn't it? Cash flows වලට බොහෝ දුරට කිට් වෙනවා. Right? තව R&D එකකට, right? ඒ තත්ත්වයට ගත්තාම මේක more in line with the cash flow based evaluation. Some cash flow based evaluation can be shareholder self calculation. You go ahead with the present value of the future cash flows. Right? Finance law. Then replace the multiple goals with one financial measures and encourage expenditure in create benefits in the long run. Yeah, adding back advertising, R&D, right? So managers are not reluctant to spend for that. Then ROI ගත්තොත් එහෙම ROI වල අඩු වෙනවා, right? R&D අඩු වෙනවා, advertising අඩු වෙනවා. එතන manager කෙනෙක් හිතන්න පුළුවන් why should I spend more R&D that will reduce my controllable profit so that my ROI will be reduced, right? So if the manager is evaluating only based on ROI, so such a division managers will reluctant to spending more in R&D and advertising. But if the managers know that yes, ROI also calculated, but it will be evaluated based on economic value added as well. So even though their ROI less, their economic value added will be higher, right? So they will have that economic value added target also. That will be a positive, the motivating factor for the divisional managers. So it is consistent with NPV because you take the NPV වලක් කරන්නේ අපි present value cash flows ටික discount කරනවා. Discount කරන්නේ cost of capital වලට. දැන් මෙතන cost of capital එක අඩු කරනවා. Right? Net operating profit after tax. So and this net operating profit after tax is more in line with the cash flow. If we are adding back all non-cash expenses like depreciation, amortization, and other non-cash expenses. Make it a disadvantage, make a simple net complicated. And make a still historical data, the common weakness in this cost-based financial reporting. And absolute measure, percentage data. So hotel the gold hotel total investment is 500 million. Colombo hotel total investment is only 200 million. So definitely their profit will be different because of the relative investment. But in both residual income and economic value added, you take the absolute figure. You don't take it as a percentage of investment. So that will give a higher that will create a situation where higher investment automatically will go for higher economic value added and higher ROI, higher residual income. So that weakness is there in the residual income as well as economic value added because it's an absolute term. You are not taking it as a percentage of investment, right? Those are some weaknesses. And inconsistency in public financial information because we are adding back non-cash expenses, right? R&D advertising. So that is not consistent with the financial reporting. There is annual report information, right? So if you take all the net operating profit after tax, right? This operating profit that will not be tallied with the operating profit of the income statement of profit loss. Statement of profit loss also you take the operating profit. There is the profit before tax and interest, right? So you take sales, cost of sales, gross profit, other income, to deduct distribution, admin and other expenses, then it is the operating profit, profit from trading. Okay. But there you are deducting the R&D and advertising. Here we add it back. So there will be inconsistency. It has a very high profit than the published financial statement operating profit. So inconsistent with the published financial statement. So these are the weaknesses, right? So we will have some more activities, some decision-making aspects in our future discussion. Some activities I will be discussing regarding this performance measurement in future, right? Especially close to the examination, more examination type questions. So today then we are moving to the transfer pricing. Next topic is transfer pricing. transfer price. What is transfer price? Price at which goods or services are transferred from one division to another or from one member of a group to another. Right? So, right, this is the company A purchased raw material after a process, right? They have intermediate product work in progress, transfer to division B finalize it and sell the finished goods to out, right? Say that raw material purchased for 100 and the conversion cost, they incur another 100. So the total cost to division A 200, right? And division B conversion cost, the additional cost incurred 100. They purchase WIP. If they are getting it 200, the actual cost incurred in the business. So that 200 WIP, that is measured, so take the financial accounts in perspective. The cost incurred on this WIP is 200, raw material 100, conversion. The labor and overhead 100, altogether 200 cost. That is become input to the, if you go ahead with the process costing, right? This 200 become next process, right? Again, WIP can be process or WIP output, right? Output is partly completed national WIP over intermediate product, right? Intermediate product partly completed, but output 200. That intermediate product it costs 200. So the total cost of division B 300, right? And finished goods you sell for 400, right? Company cost perspective, right? Now here that no transfer pricing. So A spent 200 and transferred it for 200 to B. B spent 100, right? Finished goods sold outside that 400. So that B record their cost is 300, selling price 400. Now profit 100. If you don't charge a transfer price, what happens? The entire profit of the product is now allocated to the division B. Actually, division B incurring only 100 cost. That means their value creation is 100, right? Their value creation, the value of the resources they spend 100, right? The balance 200 they created by A. Getting the raw material 400, the purchase cost 100, right? They use the transfer price as the cost. The transfer at cost. Right? The cost එක ගියාම ඒගොල්ලෝ 300 කියලා total cost එක දානවා. Then the selling price 400, so that means the division B will record the entire profit, which is unfair. It is unfair. මේක මෙහෙම වෙනවා division A considered as a purely cost center. But actually the division B, they have an option. This intermediate product they can sell to outside at 250. Right? අපි මේ රබර් වලින් මොනවා හරි මැනුෆැක්චර් කරන බිස්නස් එකක්. right? මේගොල්ලෝ රබර් ගෙනල්ලා පදම් කරලා ඉතින් මොනවා හරි හදන්න පුළුවන් විදියට හදලා මේකට ට්‍රාන්ස්ෆර්. right? මේගොල්ලෝ මේකේ රබර් සෙලෙක්ට් කරනවා. right? එතකොට දැන් මේ රබර් පදම් කරලා ගත්ත රබර් ටික ඕන වෙන ෆැක්ටරිස් වලට විකුණන්න පුළුවන් දෙසියකට. මේගොල්ලෝ මේ ටික ඔක්කොම දෙනවා ෆීට 200 ගාන ඒගොල්ලෝ කොස්ට්. right? book and clear දාලා ට්‍රාන්ස්ෆර්. Now in this situation, when you transfer at cost, right? So what's the problem here? The Division A managers' performance cannot be properly evaluated, and these managers will be demotivated. Right? On the other hand, Division A, Division B managers will enjoy a huge profit, which actually not created by them. Right? So we need a transfer price at which goods or service of one is transferred to another division. That can happen in a multinational company, one country to another country, like you have one factory to another factory. So the decision to create division often create need for transfer price agreed between the divisions for goods and service. Right. So where the transfer of goods and service between divisions, those transfer could be made free, and as a favor of the division receive the benefit. Example, a car dealership has two divisions. One car repair and service, other car sale. The service division also requires to service car before they are sold and delivered to customer. In the absence of transfer pricing system, servicing division could do work for the car sales division without making any records of work done. Now that's like this. We have a car sale. We have a service center. Right, same business. So that service center undertakes servicing the vehicles independently. In addition to that, when your car sale sell any vehicle, you make a free service. Right? Normally car sale, when you are selling the vehicle, they make it full service and deliver to the customer. It's normally happens. Right? Full service means you clean. Right? Wash it. Right? So that is the practice. And whenever you are selling car, new car by car sale, that is sent to this service division, and they move it free of charge to the customer. True. But if you don't keep a record, if you don't charge the transfer price for that, then what will happen? They will not keep a record. Right? They are not worried. Then when the car sale make more and more sales, that will be a burden on service division. So service division managers, they may like to see that the sales of less cars by the car sale, because more and more cars sold by the car sale, they have to do some free of charge service. But if you undertake the outsiders, then they will generate profit. Right? So, in the absence of transfer pricing, some conflict of interest, demotivation, and that will adversely affect the performance evaluation also. Now, during a particular month, you sell 30 cars. By car sale, sell 30 cars. Right? Make it simple. I will take that the maximum number of vehicles can be serviced by the service center just 100, right? Not practical, but just to show you the difference, right? In a month, you get service 100 cars, right? So, then if the car sales sell 30 cars and they have unlimited demand, right? Normally they have the demand. So when the car sale sell 30 cars, the service center service those 30. So their outside car service is done for 70 cars. So they will get a revenue for only 70. Right? 30 cars they will do free of charge for their car sale. But no, people like car sale එක තියෙනවා. car sale එකකින් වාහන ජාම් කරලා තියෙනවා. ඒරියා සර්විස් කරලා තියෙනවා මේක. මේකට පිට මාසෙ සර්විස් කරනවා 100යි. 100 දිහා සේල් එකේ කරපුවා සර්විස් කරපුවා ඒවන රෙවෙනියු ගන්නවා නැත්නම්. ඊළඟ මාසෙ මම නියතුවක් ඉන්න car sale එක එක වාහනයක්වත් පිටින්නේ. Travel මොකද වෙන්නේ? ඒක 100ක් මේකෙන් අරගෙන සර්විස් කරලා දෙනවා. So then what will happen that when a car sales drop, the service center managers will be happy because they can show better performance. Right? To avoid that, you should charge a transfer price for the service done by the service center, even for the car sold by the car sale. Right? You can give it free of charge to customer, but this is for performance evaluation purpose. You should charge a transfer price. What? Right? So it is necessary for the control purpose keep the record, right? But then එහෙම එකක් නොවුනොත් වෙන්නේ අර සර්විස් සෙන්ටර් එක පාසෙල් එකකින් වාහනයක් ආවා කියන එක රෙකෝඩ් කරගන්න ඒගොල්ලෝ අදාළ නැහැ. right? ඒකම අපේ මැටීරියල් වල අවුට් එකක් කරනවා වුණොත් ඒගොල්ලෝ කියනවා සේල් එකේ තිබුණ වාහනයක සර්විස් කරා ඒවට තමයි මැටීරියල් යූස්. right? ඒක control weakness internal control weakness එකක් වඩපත් එකක් තියෙනවා. Right? Because they don't keep record because they don't get any benefit for the vehicle service done for the sales division. So it is necessary for the control purpose that some records of interdivision service should be kept, and the way of doing it through the accounting system. Interdivisional work can be given at a cost or charge, that is the transfer price. Returning to illustration, the sales division and the service division, the car dealership, unless the cost or value of the service work performed for the sales division is recorded, management cannot keep a proper check of the amount of resources, labor, time, material used, all that. So that the example also demonstrates the need for transfer pricing to help to evaluate the performance of the division share. This is what I explained. If the service division does not receive any credit for the work, it does for the sales division, then the revenue and the profitability are effectively understated. Right? Then the other thing is sometimes when the car sale make a sale, if that cleaning part, service department do very well, that will create a positive image, right? So that is a value creation made by the service division. So, but their divisional profit and revenue understated. But kali kiwe දැන් 30 අලුතෙන් 30 car sale එක විකුණපු out මාසේ ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ revenue එක එන්නේ 70ක විතර. ඒ car sale එකක්වත් විකුණුනේ නැත්නම් මේගොල්ලෝ 100ක revenue එකක් වෙනවා. right? ඒකම ඒගොල්ලෝ 100 revenue එක අනිත් මාසෙත් තිබුණා. ඒකමද ඒගොල්ලෝ ඒ resources ටික use කරලා internally service එකක් දෙනවා. So the performance of the sales division overstated and service division understated. Therefore, transfer pricings are required to prevent the performance of the two divisions being distorted. Then, the preventing distortion of performance is a way to help to maintain the motivation of the divisional management. For an example, if selling division doesn't get any credit for the work it done, it should demotivate the manager and staff. It may also demotivate the service division to do their job, poor job. ඊළඟට තමයි දැන් මේක දැනගත්තාම ඒගොල්ලන්ට ක්‍රෙඩිට් එකක් නැත්නම් ඒගොල්ලෝ මොකද කරන්නේ outside service එක හොඳට ක්ලීන් කරලා දෙනවා. right? car sale එකකින් වාහනයක් ආපුවම ඒක බොහොම අඩුවට quality එක අඩු level එකකට කරලා දෙනවා. time save කරගන්න, material save කරගන්න. So they know that will only cost for. And that will adversely affect to the company. Right? The customer dissatisfied, you know, අලුතෙන්ම කාසෙලෙන් වාහනයක් ගත්තම හරියට සර්විස් කරලා. So that could damage the interest of the company as a whole. Right? Service, car sale example එක වලට එක දෙයක් ගන්න පුළුවන්. Right? Car service division එකේ ඒ service එක හොඳටම කරනවා. Customer satisfied. car sale එකෙන් එන vehicle එක වාගෙට clean කරලා දෙනවා. Right? හරියට interior clean කරන්නේ නැහැ. interior wash කරලා විතරක් දෙනවා වෙන්න පුළුවන්. Right? මොකද ඒගොල්ලෝ labor සහ material save කරන්න බලනවා. Because that create only cost for the managers. So aim of transfer pricing, one is the goal congruence. That is the concept goal congruence. Have you heard about it? Goal congruence. ආයතනයක තියෙන්න ඕනේ. අරමුණු වල සිංහල වචනේ කියන්නේ. හරියට මෙන්නේ නැහැ සිංහල වචනේ කියන්නේ. අරමුණු conflict නොවෙන්න ඕනේ. Right? Should have a consistency or that align with each other. When the divisional service division managers want to increase their performance, that should not be at the cost of the entire organization. Best interest of the entity, right? Then transfer pricing, protect the goal controls and it maintains the autonomy for the manager. That is a motivating factor. The divisional manager more autonomy එකක් හම්බ වෙනවා. ඒක motivated one. ඊළඟට you can use it for better performance evaluation of the divisional managers. Right? So මම මේ ගත්ත situation එක වගේ එකක් තියෙන්නේ. දැන් cost incurred by division S supplying division, receiving division කියලා දාලා තියෙනවා මේ internal service එක හරි product එක හරි internal transfer කරන්න එක. මේ supplying division එකට පුළුවන් externally විකුණන්න. Right? මම ගත්ත example එකේ rubber product එක externally විකුණන්න පුළුවන්. Internal transfer කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඊළඟට ඔකේ අනිත් කතාව තමයි මේගොල්ලන්ට පුළුවන් මේක එළියෙන් ගන්න. පුළුවන්. Right? Purchase price. මේගොල්ලන්ට මේක එළියෙන් ගන්නත් පුළුවන්. මේගොල්ලෝ මේක එළියෙන් ගන්නවා නම් 260 ගන්න ගන්න. Right. Now, what is the transfer pricing you should charge? The better transfer pricing can charge කරන්න පුළුවන්. Transfer price. Right? මේ transfer price එක cost එක වෙන්න පුළුවන්. 200. Right? External selling price of A 250 වෙන්න පුළුවන්. එහෙම නැත්නම් external purchase price of B එළියෙන් ගන්නවා නම් 260ක් දීලා ගන්න ඕනේ. එහෙනම් අපි 260ට විකුණනවා කියලා transfer price එක 260 වෙන්න. එහෙම නැත්නම් cost plus markup එකක් දාන්න පුළුවන් 200 plus 10%. 220 වෙන්නත්. So transfer pricing you can have different methods. Right? The transfer price එක එක method වල transfer price එක decide කරන්න පුළුවන්. Okay? Transfer price එක cost එකට පුළුවන්. ඊළඟට selling price එකට පුළුවන් A ගේ B ගේ purchase price එකට පුළුවන්. එහෙම නැත්නම් cost එකට markup එකක් දාලා තියාගන්න පුළුවන්. These are the transfer pricing already used, right? Maybe you better draw this diagram. Maybe overall kata summarize the right? Right, so now this cost can be actual cost or cost can be standard cost. Now if you charge the actual cost
then the problem is if some inefficiency occur, any kind of inefficiency of this division cost increase, that will affect to other division as well. මේගොල්ලේ cost එක වැඩි වෙනවා අපිට මේගොල්ලන්ගේ inefficiency in the material වල labor usage වල right problems නිසා cost එක 220 වෙනවනේ. මෙයාට total cost එක 220 වෙනවනේ. ඒක avoid කරන්න පුළුවන් standard cost එක use කරන්න. Right? You know the standard cost, the budgeted cost, target cost. ඊළඟ standard cost use කරන්න පුළුවන් එතනදී marginal cost එක. If the fixed cost ignore and you can go ahead with the variable costing because all these are internal performance evaluation purpose. So අපි ගත්ත full cost එක use කරනවා කියලා. right නම් මේ example එකේ ගත්තා වගේ full cost leads to high transfer price. Therefore receiving division may look to use external supply. දැන් අපි හිතමු මෙයා 250ට දෙනකොට 250 නේ full cost එක තියෙනවා. full cost එක ඇතුලේ මේ overhead absorb කරපු එකක් තියෙනවා. ඒකේ සමහර වෙලාවක තියෙන්න පුළුවන් overhead absorption even not controllable by the division. right? එතකොට මෙයාට අපිට මෙලිය 240ට ගන්න පුළුවන් නම් මෙයා කියනවා right. නැත්නම් මෙලියෙන් ගන්න පුළුවන් කියලා 200ට මෙයා ट्रांसफर කරනවා මෙයාගේ actual cost එක 210 කියලා 210 right full cost එක ගියාම 210 එතකොට they might go for the external purchase එහෙනම් වෙන්නත් පුළුවන් right so then the wrong decision because the fixed cost may not be a relevant cost ඒ කියන්නේ දැන් උදාහරණයක් ගමු මෙයා එළිය 250ට ගන්න පුළුවන් right මෙයාගේ cost එක එනවා 260. fixed cost එකත් එකතු වුණාම 260ක්. right. එතකොට මෙයා කියනවා right අපි cost එක වාරණ දෙනවා 260ට දෙන්න. Manager we might say no we can buy from outside for 250. So they decide to go for outside 250. Even though they go to outside to make material एक product එකක් කියන්නේ division A produce several products right so this fixed cost they need to අපිට division A හදනවා product X Y Z X and Y sell outside directly Z they produce they sell to outside also. They said sell this only for the division B, right? So the fixed cost incurred for all three X, Y, Z arbitrary allocate among all the products. So that allocated fixed cost is 60. Even though you stop the product X, because X tama denni, kata Z tama denni, this product is Z, right? Z to be still you have to incur this 60 for X and Y. Now the scenario, division A produce 3 products X, Y, Z, X and Y sell to outside. Z they produce for division B as an intermediate product and they price it at cost 260. Full cost. This is the full cost. Right? Which include the fixed cost. This is full. This includes the fixed cost. So when they take it for 260, now division B manager say, no, we can buy it from outside 250. Right? When they get it from manager, isn't it? Right? They say, okay, why we should pay 260 when we can buy from outside 250? So they will say, no, we will buy it from outside. So what? Division A just okay, they will stop the production of Z and they produce only X and Y. Even though they stop the production Z, this 60 cost has to be incurred that it is unavoidable fixed cost. Possible. Now then what happened actually? So that company, if they price this based on the marginal cost 200, then division B will buy it from A and not from outside. So company perspective, you could have produced product Z at 200 at division A. Now we are buying it from outside for 250 because this 60 unavoidable. Even though they stop the product Z production, still they are incurring that. But the one. So when you use the full cost may mean higher transfer price. Therefore, receiving division may look to use external supply. This may lead to wrong decision being made because fixed costs are not relevant. Right? Got this scenario? अब इस तरह टॉपिक के कथा कर रहा हूँ यहाँ relevant costing, but you are familiar with these concepts, like relevant cost. So fixed cost, if we take the fixed cost, this 60, this is the total fixed cost incurred by division. You divide between the three products, right? X, Y, Z. Assume this fixed cost is totally unavoidable. Okay, in the factory rent, right? Factory manager, supervisor, seller, product තුනටම පොදුවේ ඉන්න කරා. right? දරවා ඉසෙට් එක නතර කරා කියලා total fixed cost එක වෙනස් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. මේ arbitrary allocation එකක් ඇවිල්ලා. right? ඒකත් එක cost උන නිසා B manager කියනනේ අපි එළියෙන් ගන්න. ඒගොල්ලෝ 250ට ගන්න. ඇත්තටම කම්පැනි එක කියලා බලපුවාම කම්පැනි එක මේකේ cost එක 200යි. මොකද මේක නැරැත්තුවා මේ 60 යනවා. So you are taking a totally wrong decision. So actually, company-wise, you are spending additional 50 rupees. Right? Divisional manager might say no. The B manager say that you are asking for 260, we can buy it for 250. Why? So when you are paying for 260, that will reduce our profit. True. Right? Full cost again. Right. එතන cost එකට price කරා transfer price එක ඒක relevant cost එක base වෙනවා. right? Right. Now an activity. Shall we go through? Division S. Direct cost 20, fixed overhead absorb 80, total 28. Standard profit margin 10%, transfer price 30.2. Division S has proposed transfer price of 30.8 per unit for goods which supply to division R. Division R. Division R, the receiving division can buy it externally from 26. Yeah, externally 26 Discuss the likely outcome of setting transfer price 30.8. Simple. Now when the transfer price set as direct cost plus the fixed overhead absorb 28 plus 10%, 30.8, division R, the receiving, right? R and receiving is here supplying here, right? So receiving division manager, they might argue, no, we are not willing to pay 30 because we can buy it from outside at 26. So they will go for outside purchase. But if this 8 fixed overhead absorb is totally uncontrollable, right? Sorry, totally unavoidable, right? Unavoidable. That means whether this product is produced or not, that cost should be incurred by the division. In that case, which is not relevant. It is not relevant. So, if you price it based on the direct cost 20 plus 10% mark, then you will charge for 22. To charge it for 22, then the receiving division manager will prefer to buy it from 22 rather than going for 26 outside. Right? So that will benefit to the company. Right? So that is the scenario we can discuss it. Right? Explain right? So that the goal controls impact from the group perspective. You can buy that is receiving perspective. The group cost 20, buy from extra 26. So extra cost 6 of buying. So company wise, you better produce. Right? But when you take the transfer price, the receiving division, 28 cost for the internal transfer, buy from outside 26. So saving by purchasing 2. So the receiving division manager prefer to go for the external purchase. They might say we can have a saving of 2 rupees. Right? So that is the wrong decision from the company perspective. Right? So that is the adverse consequence of using the full cost based transfer pricing approach. Okay. Right. Make it heavily, right? Then the market-based approach for transfer pricing. Market price-based approach. That means the receiving division can set the transfer price if supplying division at full capacity. Then the revenue is loose as a result of internal transfer, show the true cost. So the division of the internal transfer. So if the division could have the marketing cost to sell externally, that marketing cost could be adjusted to reflect the internal transfer price. We can make that out. Right? This year. දැන් මෙයාට 250ට එළියට පුරන්න පුළුවන්. right? internal transfer කරන්න අපි දැනට යනවා 250ට එළියට විකුණන්න පුළුවන්. මෙයා 200 මෙයාට 5ක් එකකට යනවා marketing cost එක. ඒ කියන්නේ net එයාට හම්බ වෙනවා 245ක්. 245. And they have the full demand. Whatever the number of unit you produce, you can sell external division. ඒ වගේ වෙලාවක division A decide කරන transfer price එක 245. 250 නෙමෙයි 250ට යා විකුණන්නේ 5ක selling cost එකක් දරලා නම්. right? අපි දුක් transport දෙනවා ඒක තමයි හරි ඒකත් එක්ක කවර් කරනවා 250ට. internal transfer එකේ cost එක නැහැ. එයාගේ opportunity cost එක තමයි එකක් එළියට 245ක net revenue එකක් තියෙනවා. That is what they are losing. So they should sell the external the internal transfer price as 245. Right. Shall we go into this activity? The creative division CD of Unique Component Limited purchased wooden component that it sells to an external customer and transfers to other division within its own group of companies. Production involved the preparation of timber, cutting timber, sharpening and assembling shapes to the components. Total component cost for component A estimated as 41.21 per unit. The variable cost account for 45% of this. Selling cost incurred by selling external customer 5. And the selling price 55.63. Discuss the application and acceptability of following transfer pricing. Which component A may be offered by CD to other divisions within the same group of companies, market price and marginal cost. Right? Again, transfer price එක use කරන්න ඕනේ. එතකොට selling price එක 55.5 to the outside, right? This CD, you can sell this component to outside 55.63. That is, by incurring the selling cost is 5. So the net external sales revenue is 50.63. And a market price approach එකකින් යනවා නම් එයා යන්න ඕනේ 50.63. Is that clear? Transfer price should be 50.60, not the 55, right? Because you are incurring 5 selling cost and sell outside. Internal transfer no selling cost. Let me advertise කරන්න හරි transport කරන්න මොනවා හරි ඒ cost එක යන්නේ නැහැ internally. ඒ නිසා 55 වලින් 5 අයින් කරන්න ඕනේ transfer cost. Marginal cost එක ගන්නවා නම් marginal cost එක ගන්න ඉන්නේ total cost is 41.21. From that you take variable cost. Marginal cost means variable cost. Variable cost එක 45%. Total price එකක් එන්නේ transfer price. So A වලට උත්තරේ තමයි 55.63 minus 5 50.63. B වල answer එක තමයි total cost is 41.25. The marginal cost is 0.45. Then practical situation. You can sell for external customers at 50.63 market price, right? Market price taking යාට තියෙනවා 60, 50.63. But if you charge based on the marginal cost 18.5, right? 18.5. So if you have demand for 100% that you are producing for the external customers, then normally this division will not supply internally. Right? Therefore, එළියට දෙන්න පුළුවන් කෙලින්ම external market. අපි external supply එක දෙන්න පුළුවන් limited ප්‍රමාණයක් තියෙන්නේ. මේ capacity එක 1000 හදන්න පුළුවන්. You have the external demand only for 600. Then balance 400 you can produce an internal transfer. There you can even use the marginal cost. And internal the external ඔක්කොම satisfied කරලා තියෙන්නේ. Right? ඒ වෙලාවට අපිට පුළුවන් cost එක marginal cost එක base කරලා price කරලා යන්න. ඊළඟ මේකට premium එකක් add කරන්න පුළුවන්, markup එකක් add කරන්න පුළුවන්. Normally you are not selling at the cost, you add the mark profit. Right? Then the opportunity cost approach for transfer pricing, where we can consider the opportunity cost. That means minimum transfer price, marginal cost to selling division plus opportunity cost of resources used. If external market exit for the intermediate product, opportunity cost is the contribution loss from external sales. Make kind of example. Original example එක මම යනවා. right? All right. Their cost is 200, full cost. You can sell it for 50 external, right? 50. So your transfer price එක වෙන්න ඕන දැන් 200 අරගෙන 50 විකුණනවා එළියට විකුණනවා නම් selling cost එක පහකුත් යනවා කියලා අපි හිතනවා. So the net sales price 245. Full cost එක 200. The opportunity cost how much? If you are selling outside, net you can have 245. So 45 opportunity cost. If the division they operate at full capacity, transfer price should be 245. 200 full cost plus 45. The contribution they are using. Right? Contribution. If no external market for the intermediate product exit, opportunity cost is 0. එළියට විකුණන්න බැරි නම් ඒකට opportunity cost part එකක් නැහැ. ඒක cost එක ඉතරයි. ඒකට ඕන markup එකක් add කරගන්න ඕනේ. Right? We have a next activity. Company C engage in synthetic fiber production. The situation of country A, it operates 2 product plants, and plant 1 manufacture single product, which is a separate grade of polymer, special grade of polymer. This polymer is then transferred to plant 2, which produce synthetic fiber. Synfib is the name. Polymer produced by plant 1 is special grade and manufactured specially for the production of synfib. So there is no intermediate market for it. Right? Company comes, plant 1, plant 2. P1, P2. Right? P1 manufacture company C in country A, 2 plant, single product, special grade polymer හදනවා plant 1 එකේ. Polymer P කියලා මම දාන්න product එක P output එක. ඒකෙන් හදනවා plant 2 එකෙන් synfib. Right? SF කියලා දාමු. Right? Synthetic fiber. Plant 1 එකේ හදන polymer එකට intermediate market එකක් නැහැ. Right? Special grade produce synfib. There is a strong worldwide demand for synfib. මේකට ලොකු demand එකක් තියෙනවා. And company C is the only producer. The following schedule shows the monthly demand. Million, 75, 100 and 125. You can sell for 200, 175, 150. They have applied law of demand, right? You can sell larger quantity when the selling price is low. So if you are producing 75, you can sell 1 for 200. Oil price is right, fluctuated. If you are producing and selling, if you are producing 100, you can sell. If you are your selling price would be 175. The price decrease, the demand increase. You can sell it for 150. Then you can sell 125 units. Right? The manager of plant 2 has autonomy to choose which level of output. that it had select the level of output which maximize the plant to contribution. දැන් මේගොල්ලන්ට තියෙනවා scenario තුනක් තියෙනවා. Right? 1, 2, 3. Quantity and selling price. පළවෙනි එක තමයි 75 million quantity එකක් යන්න පුළුවන් at 200 or 100 quantity at 175. 125 quantity at 150. And the plant 2 manager has the autonomy to choose the level of output of synfit and always select the level of output which maximize the plant 2 contribution. මෙයා බලන්නේ මෙයාගේ contribution එක වැඩි වෙන maximize වෙන outcome. Output of synfit is produced batches of 25 million layers. 25 million වලින් තමයි එතන 75 100 125 යන්නේ අතර නැහැ. The minimum monthly quantity produced 75 හරි. Maximum 125. Cost. Marginal cost incurred by plant 112. මේගොල්ලන්ගේ marginal cost එක තියෙනවා 12. And මේගොල්ලන්ගේ marginal cost එක තියෙනවා 24 per unit. This agreed transfer price. The transfer price for polymer has set for 40 per liter. Then මෙයාලා දැනට හදලා තියෙන transfer price එක තියෙන්නේ 40. ඒ කියන්නේ marginal cost එකට මෙයා 28ක් profit තියලා. Transfer price set as 40. එතකොට මෙයාගේ purchase cost එක එනවනේ 40. Purchase price එක 40. මෙයාට දැනට තියෙනවා present right මේ දැනට තියෙන තත්ත්වේ. Total cost එක එනවා 64. 64 දැන්ට යාගේ cost එක. එතකොට දැන්ට යාගේ contribution එක එන්නේ 200 minus 64 175 minus 64 150 minus 64 තමයි යා බලන්නේ යාගේ contribution. ඒ contribution එක quantity එක වැඩි කරලා highest contribution එක එන එක තමයි දැන් යා produce කරගෙන ඉන්නේ මේ තුනේ. Right? And recently, division manager of plant 2 argued that transfer price 40 per liter is too high. She believes that transfer price set at plant 1 marginal cost 12 per liter would result increase the contribution for C, the company as a whole. Right? Then plant 2 එකේ manager you know right. ඔයාලා 40කට දුන්නාම අපේ cost එක 64ක් වෙනවා. එයාගේ contribution එක යා පළවෙනි scenario එකේ බැලුවොත් එයා 200 minus 64 right contribution එක එන්නේ 136 මේක quantity එක වැඩි කරනවා එයා බලනවා එයාගේ contribution එක ඔය විදිහට අවස්ථා තුනේ contribution එක බලලා වැඩි එක තමයි දැන් produce කරලා යන්නේ. What is the argument is now that is overpriced. They are asking supplying at 12 right. That would result that 12 hours paper proposed purchase price 12 marginal cost 24 their total cost right total cost කියන්නේ marginal cost එක 36 their contribution එක base කරන්නේ 36 and 200 36 125 36 100. And what that manager argues, if you go for that they will select one of these three that will maximize. They will calculate based on maximizing the plant to contribution. That will maximize the company contribution. That's what they are doing. You have to check it, evaluate this. Right? Scenario is clear. Right? දැනට තියෙන්නේ plant 1 එක variable cost එක 12ක් දාලා හදන එක 28කට මාර්කප් එකක් තියාගෙන 40ට තමයි transfer කරන්නේ. So plant B එක plant 2 එක තව 24කට cost එකක් marginal cost එකකින් කරලා ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ full cost එක يعني ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ variable cost එක පිළිගන්න ගන්න එකයි total variable cost එක. Right? Total cost කියනකොට තමයි total variable cost 64. දැන් ඒගොල්ලෝ total variable cost එක 64 කියලා දාලා මේ තුන මේ scenario තුනේ ඒගොල්ලෝ total contribution එක වැඩි කරනම හදන්නේ. අපි එකකට තුන දැන් ඉන්නේ පළවෙනි එකේ ඉන්නේ. පළවෙනි එකේ total contribution එකක් තියෙනවා firm එකට. right? පළවෙනි එක හදපුවාම firm එකට ඇත්ත contribution එකක් තියෙනවා. company එකට. මෙයා argue කරනවා නෑ මේ 40ට යන නිසා අපි තෝරගෙන තියෙන එක නම් right මේක 12ට දුන්නොත් අපි සමහරවිට තුන්වෙනි එක තෝරගන්නවා ඒක කම්පැනිට more profitable right අපි බලන්න ඕනේ ඇත්තටම එහෙම වෙනවද ඒක වල කන්ට්‍රිබියුෂන් එක බලන්න ඕනේ දැනට මේ තියෙන සිටුේෂන් එක යටතේ ඒගොල්ලෝ තෝරගන්න ඔප්ෂන් එක ඒගොල්ලෝ තෝරගන්න ඔප්ෂන් එකේ company එකට තියෙන ඇත්ත contribution එක වෙනම හොයාගන්න. right? ඒගොල්ලෝ contribution එක ගන්නේ 40 base කරලා. ඒ ඇත්ත contribution එක ගන්නොත් ඇත්ත variable cost එක කීයද? firm එකට. year 12 year 20. ඒක ඇත්ත එක 36 නැත්නම්. ඔයා පෙරතිලි කෝවා බලන්න ඕනේ මේ 64 variable cost එක base කරලා තෝරගන්න එකයි ඊට පස්සේ 36 base කරලා ගන්න එක company එකට සමානයි. මොකද ඒගොල්ලෝ transfer price එකක් තියාගන්නේ නැහැ margin එක. ඒ නිසා ගෙවුම 36. ඒ මේකේ තෝරගන්න එකකින් එන contribution එක වැඩි නම් ඒ option එක. එහේ මෙයා කියන එක හරි. හැබැයි මේ යන විදිහට යන එක හරි නම් එයා කියන එක වැරදි මේ යන ක්‍රමය හොඳ වෙන්න පුළුවන්. Record नहीं है कंटिन्यू कर ले बोले रे मैं गीला उधर आएगा आगे वगैरह ये करो ना आएगा वगैरह पूरा सभी कंटिन्यू right. I want you to attend. Right. So you have to do calculations under present costing system. You just calculate the contribution under each pricing. Right. Now this is highly demanded product. So whatever the number of quantity you produce at the given price you can sell. Oil market එක දැන් OPEC countries ගන්න. ඒගොල්ලෝ තෙල් හදන ප්‍රමාණය විකුණනවා. අඩුවේ තෙල් හැදුවොත් price එක වැඩි වෙනවා. right? වැඩිපුර oil ප්‍රමාණයක් refine කරොත් price එක අඩු වෙනවා. එහෙම අවස්ථා තුනක් මේ දීලා තියෙනවා. right? මේක වෙනස් වෙන්නේ ආවා ගන්නකොට මේ selling price එක මේ variable cost එකත් එක්ක contribution එක වගේ. මේ selling price එකම මේ variable cost එකත් එක්ක බලලා ඒකේ profitable මොකක්ද කියලා ගන්න. It's a highly practical question, right? Right? We can find transfer pricing under present transfer pricing, the contribution under present transfer pricing, right? Contribution at present transfer pricing of 40. Right, then 40. අපි ගත්තොත් පළවෙනි අවස්ථාව අපි මේ ටේබල් එකම ගමු quantity equal selling price selling price external selling price minus total variable cost, right? Total variable cost. Can you get the contribution? Equal contribution. Total contribution. Okay, බලන්න ඕනේ right? පළවෙනි එක පළවෙනි අවස්ථාව අපි ගන්නේ 75 selling price 75 and quantity quantity 200, sorry, selling price 200 and quantity 75. I quantity වැඩි කරන්න ඕනේ contribution per unit නෙමෙයි, right? මේ එනවා contribution per unit මේක වැඩි කරන්න ඕනේ quantity එකකින්. So they are total contribution, right? මේක වලට පල්ලෙහාට හදන්න පුළුවන් right මනේ පළවෙනි අවස්ථාවේ selling price එක 200යි variable cost එක කීයද at present the present transfer price එක යටතේ contribution at present transfer price of 40 on and total variable cost of 64. What is the 64? 64. The contribution per unit is 200 minus 64, 136 multiplied by quantity 75. Total contribution 136 into 75, 10,200. Second scenario is selling price 175 and quantity 100. Right? And selling price 175, quantity is 100. Total contribution is 11,100. Oh, plant 2. Plant 2 එකට තමයි මේ බලන්නේ. Right? Plant 2 එකට බලන්නේ. Third scenario selling price 150. Quantity 125. 120. That means at present they have strict with the plant to decide the scenario, the number of units to be produced, 100 quantity at 175, that has the total contribution of 11,100. Is that clear? 11,100. මේ දැන් තියෙන තත්ත්වය. Then we got total contribution at proposed transfer price of 12 and the total variable cost of 36. Right? So then 36 එනවා. එච්චරයි වෙනස. 36. 36. දැන් මේ 36 වලට ගියාම ඒගොල්ලෝ තෝරන්නේ තුන්වෙනි ඔප්ෂන් එක. Why? Now the proposed one, the total contribution is 14,250. Now this proposed pricing methods give you actual contribution to the company as well. Because actual variable cost to the company, plant 1 12 plant 2 24. So when this new the plant 2 manager's proposal is accepted, they will go for the third scenario that will actually maximize the company contribution. Right? Make a total lazy make a proposed transfer price is cost. No? So under the proposed transfer pricing, the contribution for plant 2 equal to contribution for the company. Right? Exactly, you make a they will make a now make a issue with the plant 1 is in profit there, right? That will demotivate the plant 1 managers because they are not getting any profit. Total profit is allocated to plant 2. ඔක වළක්වන්න පුළුවන් අපි හිතමු මේ ගානක දුන්නා නම් ට්‍රාන්ස්ෆර් ප්‍රයිස් එක ආයෙ සජෙස්ට් කරනවා කොස්ට් එක නෙමෙයි. ඒක නෑ කොස්ට් එක දැන් දෙන්නේ කොස්ට් එක 12 28 ප්‍රොෆිට් කරනවා. right? එයා කියන්න පුළුවන් නෑ අපිට දෙන්න 20 වලට කියලා. right? 20 වලට. 20 වලට දුන්නා අපි යන ඔප්ෂන් එක කම්පැනි ප්‍රොෆිට් කියන්නේ. එහෙම කිව්වා නම් right? මම දැන් මේක කොහොමද කියලා මේක ඉස්සර දුන්නා නම් ටෝටල් ඒක නතර 20යි 24යි 44 වෙනවනේ 44 right? මේ 44 දාලා 44 කිව්වා නම් ඔයා කියනවා මේක තමයි third option එකට යන්නේ. ඒතකොට company actual profit එක මොකක්ද? actual contribution. මේක දාලා ඔයාලා කියනවා තුන්වෙනි එක දැන් මේකේ තුන්වෙනි එක බලලා ඔයාලා තීරණය කරන්න බෑ. ඇත්තටම company එක profitable කොහොමද? the proposed එකේ යන්නේ third scenario එකට. present එකේ යන්නේ first scenario. ඊට ඔයාලා බලන්න ඕනේ මෙන්න මේක actual contribution to the company. right? company එකට බලපුවම තුන්වෙනි එකේ තමයි actual contribution එක. එතකොට මේ proposed එකෙන් උත් එන්නේ තුන්වෙනි එක. ඒක අනුව අපිට කියන්න පුළුවන් right proposed එක හරි. you got 5 points. තේරුණාද? කියන්නේ දැන් මේක පොඩ්ඩක් මේ ගානේ 12 කියන එක අමතක කරන්න. ඔයාලා 12 නෙමෙයි. ඒ කියන්නේ මේක propose method එක right? Proposed method එක transfer price of 20 කියලා දුන්නා කියලා හිතන්න. 20. And total contribution of 44 then. 20 plus 24 plant 2, plant 1 මේ කියන්නේ plant B එක cost වෙන්නේ එතකොට එයාට 20ට ගන්නවා. එයා තව 24ක් යනවා. එයාට 44යි කියලා තමයි යන්නේ. right? දැන් එයාගේ total contribution එක 14000 වෙනවා. කාරණේ කියනවා ඒ 40000 එයා මේ scenario එකේ එයාට වැඩිම contribution එකක් හම්බෙන්න product mix එකට යනවා. ඒක මේ scenario එකට යනවා. right? දැන් තියෙන එක අනුව එයාට වැඩි profit එකක් හම්බෙන්නේ 11100. ඒ නිසා එයා තෝරනවා 175 selling price at 100. Proposed එක 20 වුණා නම් එයා තෝරන්නේ 150 selling price at 125 quantity. දැන් මේක බලලා ඔයාලට කියන්න බෑ මේ දෙකේ වඩා හොඳ කොහොමද? ඇයි මේ තියෙන්නේ transfer price එකත් එක්කනේ. කොහොමනේ? දැන් ඔයාලට තීරණය කරන්න වෙනවනේ. දැන් තියෙන සිටුේෂන් එක අනුව මේක තමයි මේ කම්බිනේෂන් එක කියන්නේ. We are selling 100 quantity at 175. right? මේ බලන්නේ plant 2 එකේ manager තමයි ඔක්කොම මේක තියෙන්නේ which combination what quantity to be produced what the selling price. right? At the present the transfer pricing plant 2 manager they take the decision to maximize their what the point? Maximize the contribution to that plant 2. Under the proposed I change this proposed transfer price as 20 instead of 12. If so, they look at the three scenarios and the highest profit for them is third one. Right? Now we have to see whether it is consistent with the company. Right? එහෙනම් මෙහෙම අහුවනම් total contribution as a total contribution for the company of one, right? Total contribution to the company at actual total variable cost. The actual total variable cost is 12 plus 20. 36. අනතකොට අපිට වෙනවා actual contribution එක වැඩි වෙන්නේ තුන්වෙනි scenario එකට තමයි. Now they are deciding based on whether it's maximize the plant 2 for company. Right? The plant 2 decide the selling price and accordingly the production quantity which maximize their contribution to plant 2. Now that is in line with the total contribution at actual. So you can say this proposed strategy is correct. But my point, right? දැන් මේ ගාන ලේසි මොකද proposed strategy එක තියෙන්නේ කෙලින්ම actual cost එක. The proposed strategy එකේ contribution එක equal to the company contribution. right? ඒ නිසා කෙලින්ම අපිට ඒ දෙක compare කරලා decision එක ගන්න. Now practically ඕක suggest කරන්න බෑනේ කියන්නේ යාට cost එකට දෙන්න කියන්න බෑනේ. යා ඔය අතර transfer price එක තමයි propose කරන්නේ. අපි will share. But when you take that proposed one, right? The company will end up with the scenario that will give you the correct combination of price and quantity that actually maximize the contribution to the firm. got my point? දැන් අපි හිතමු එයා කියනවා මේ selling price එක දැන් ඒගොල්ලන්ට price කරන්නේ 40ටනේ. අපි මේ දැන් මේ 40 වෙනකොට transfer price එක 20 කියලා. හරි. ඔය එයා 30 කියලා suggest කරා කියන්නේ. 30 suggest කරා කියන එක. මේක 30 කරනවා. හරි transfer price 30. transfer price 30 වුණාම 30 plus ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ 44 24 54 වෙනවා. variable cost. Right? 54 වුණාම අපි බලමු. 54 වුණා නම් එයා සිලෙක්ට් කරන්නේ මොකක්ද? මැනේජර් බලන්නේ තමන්ගේ බ්‍රාන්ච් එකට කන්ට්‍රිබියුෂන් එක වැඩි කියන්නේ. එතකොට මැනේජර්ට කන්ට්‍රිබියුෂන් එක වැඩි වෙන්නේ දෙවෙනි ඩිවිෂන්. ඔය ඇත්තටම කම්පැනි කන්ට්‍රිබියුෂන් එක වැඩි වෙන්නේ තර්ඩ් එක. So 54 වලට ප්‍රයිස් එක ඩිසයිඩ් කරා නම් ට්‍රාන්ස්ෆර් ප්‍රයිස් එක. ඒක ට්‍රාන්ස්ෆර් ප්‍රයිස් එක 30 වුණා නම් right? The total variable cost become 54 to the division B. So still the division B select for the second one. You got my point? එතකොට එයාගේ decision එක වැරදි. ඒක වැරදි. ඒතර එයා ඇත්තටම කම්පැනි එකට එන contribution එකේ 13000 නයි. ඒ වෙලාවට. හැබැයි එයාට 14250 ගන්න තිබුණා. තුන්වෙනි එකට ගියා. හැබැයි දැන් එයා decide කරන්නේ based on plant to contribution. So then transfer price 30 will give the highest contribution to plant B at the 175 at 100, which is not in line with highest total contribution to the company based on the actual variable cost. You got the point? Right? Because you'll be tested this type of question at examination. Right? මම සාමාන්‍යයෙන් මේ lecture series එකේ මැද ඔය වගේ කියනවා. Right? මෙන්න මේ mode එකේ questions එනවා කියන එක. Right? ඒක lecture series එක පුරාවට ඔයාලා ඒවා record එකක් තියනවා. Right? මොකද exam එකට අන්තිම සතියේ model paper එකක් දීලා ඒකේ තියෙන ප්‍රශ්න ටිකම exam එකට දෙන්නේ නැහැ. Right? දැන් මේ structure එකට question එකක් දුන්නොත් ඔයාලට ඉවයි ගන්න මේ structure එක question එකක්. Is that clear? මේක මොනවා හරි ගැටලුවක් තියෙනවා නේද? දැන් මොනවාට calculation තුනක් කරන්න. එකක් තමයි present එක. ඊට පස්සේ proposed price එක අනුව එක. දැන් මේ නම් වෙනස් කරපු විනාඩිය එක අකුණ නම් present එකයි proposed price එකයි සමානයි. right? now හරි. යට ඕන අපිට වෙන්නන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ කියන්නේ මේ තමයි present එක මම proposed එක ගත්ත transfer price එක 20යි කියලා ගන්නවා. right? 20ට ගියාම third scenario එක තමයි යන්නේ. third scenario එකට ගියාම එන contribution එක ඇත්තටම total contribution to the company at actual total, right? The transfer price ignore කරන්න වෙනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ division plant 1 එකේ variable cost එක 12යි, plant 2 එකේ variable cost එක 24යි. The total variable cost 36යි. ඒ 36 දාලා හදපුවාම company එකට ඇත්තටම contribution එක හරිය වෙන්නේ 39. දැන් මේගොල්ලෝ decide කරන්නේ කවුද මේ scenario එක decide කරන්නේ plant 2. They decide based on which scenario gives the highest contribution to plant 2. Right? The main proposed strategy එක අනුව ඒගොල්ලෝ තෝරනවා මොකද? දැන් අපි check කරලා බලපුවාම ඇත්ත contribution එකෙත් ඒක හරියි. ඒ නිසා මේ manager කියන එක හරි කියලා කියනවා. Right? Original cost එකේ තිබුණේ 12 කියලා. Original cost එකේ තියෙන එක ආයේ කෙලින්ම actual එක හොයන්න දෙයක් නැහැ. මොකද transfer price 12 වුණාම plant to contribution equal to the company contribution. Right? දැන් මේක ඕනනම් මේක නෝට් කරගත්තොත් මේ decision making එක පැහැදිලි. Right? Current එක 40. The contribution at the proposed transfer price, I change it as new one proposed transfer price 20 instead of 12. Right? So that the plant to decide the selling price and quantity to be produced based on which scenario maximize their contribution. That is the third scenario. Then මේ දෙක විතරක් හොයලා මේක බලන්නේ නැතුව ආට කියන්න බෑ. මේක හිතුවේ නැත්නම් ආට කියන්න බෑ. මේ decision එක හරියද වැරදිද කියලා. Decision එක බලන්න වෙන්නේ actually whether the question asks whether this proposed strategy will actually maximize the contribution to the company. Right? But ඒක බලන්න නම් අපිට සාමාන්‍ය විදිහට actual total contribution to the company and actual total variable cost එක බලන්න ඕනේ. 12,436 selling price මේ scenario එකට යන contribution එක කියනවා different quantities. Clear? Any question? Well, plant quantity. Then මෙහෙමනේ scenario එක දැන් ඔයාලා කියන විදිහට හදන්න පුළුවන්. right? ඒක ටිකක් يعني complicated කරගන්න ඕනේ. දැන් මම මේකම simplified version එකට ගියේ. ඒකෙන් අපි බලන්න ඕනේ right. First you have to understand scenario. Plant 1, plant 2. Plant 1 variable cost is 12. They keep a profit 28, transfer at 40. Right? So plant 2 get that transfer price 40, they keep the variable cost 24 and total variable cost at present 62. And they have three scenarios. Plant 2 has the autonomy to decide what quantity to be produced at what price. So those are the three scenarios: 75 to 200, 100 into 175, 125 to 150. So the which quantity that they produce is decided based on the which gives the highest contribution to the plant 2. This is how they decide, ignoring what happened to the company. So at present, what they are doing, you take the three scenarios, they are variable cost 64, 11,100, which is the highest. So they are at the second scenario, that means they are producing 100 quantity at 175. Right? 175. Now in the proposed one, I take the proposed one, the transfer price to 20. 20. Then, when the transfer price is 20, the total variable cost here 20 plus profit එක තියාගන්න right? Internal profit එක තියාගන්න 8. Right? Division 8. 8 give 8. So I add this new scenario. 12 plus 8 transfer price 20. So 20 plus 24 that is 40. Right? That is based on the proposed one. So they look at 13,250. Right? 13,250. Then what I did, I took the actual highest contribution to the company, ignoring the transfer price. So company perspective, variable cost for the plant 112, plant 224. So altogether 36 variable cost. So you deduct the 36 variable cost. Right? 36 variable cost. So we can say that that will give the highest, which is the 14,250. ඔයාගේ කියන්නේ මේක හදන තව ප්‍රශ්නයක්. right? ඒ කියන්නේ අපිට ඕනනම් බලන්න පුළුවන් දැන් ඔරිජිනල් ගානේ තියෙන්නේ මේ මැදේ නෑනේ. right? ඔරිජිනල් ක්වෙස්චන් එකේ මේ ඉස්සර කියන එක මම අලුතෙන් දාපු එකක් නේ. මේක නෑ. right? එකක් දාන්න. මේ වගේ. ඔරිජිනල් ක්වෙස්චන් එකේ වාට තියෙන්නේ මේ අවස්ථාව දෙකේ. Original cost එකේ වා decision එක ගන්නකොට කවුරුන් ගන්න තමයි right. දැන්ට කියන contribution එක 11,100. right. ඒ කියන්නේ තුන්වෙනි එක හදන්න නැතුව. right දැන් ඒ කියන්නේ දැන් මේ ගානේ නම් මේක actual වෙනවා. right. දැන් අපි මේකත් එක්කම ගමු. මේ වඩා ලේසි එකත් එක්ක දැන් අපි තෝරගත්ත මේකනේ. එතකොට දැන් contribution එක present total contribution 11,100. Proposed total contribution 13,250. Increase in total contribution 2,150. Right? Loss of total contribution present total contribution to plant 2. Proposed total contribution to plant 2. Increase in total contribution to plant 2. Loss of total contribution in plant 1 බලන්න පුළුවන් නේද? right? plant 1 එක ඒ කියන්නේ දැන් එයාට කලින් 40 ට ප්‍රයිස් කරපු එක දැන් ප්‍රයිස් කරන්නේ 20 නේ. 20ක් අඩු වෙනවා. या 20ක් අඩු. එක යුනිට් එකට 20ක් අඩු වෙනවා. මේකට ගියාම right. දැන් අපි හදන්නේ 125ක්. right. 20ක් අඩු වෙනවා. 20ක් අඩු වෙන්නේ පරණ එකට ගියා නම් පරණ එකට ගියා නම් එයා හදනවා 100ක්. right. 100ක් හදන්නේ. ඔය 100 ගාන 20ක් අඩු වෙන්නේ 100 2000. එතකොට අපිට කියන්න පුළුවන් right. මේකේ 150 still increase in total contribution to the company. right. මෙහෙම ආදාන්න පුළුවන්. එතකොට අර තුන්වෙනි එක ඕනේ. එසනද? By a complicated way, a simple approach. This is also possible. Yeah, you are not calculating the actual contribution, but you compare the present and proposed difference. Okay, so what plant 1 के contribution එක වැඩි වෙනකොට plant 2 එකේ අඩු වෙන එකක් තියෙනවා. The net එක තමයි වැඩි වෙලා තියෙනවා company. ඒක අපි කියනවා right proposed එක ආසි. right. එතනදී මම කරේ present එකට බැලුවා, proposed එකට බැලුවා, ඊට පස්සේ මම actual contribution එක බැලුවා. මේ අවස්ථා තුන. right. දැන් මේගොල්ලෝ decide කරන්නේ plant 2 එක දිහා බලන්න. plant 2 maximize the contribution. Right? That is their decision. They decide based on whether it maximizes the contribution to the plant. Make up for the alternative approach, right? You can say alternative. Then make a diagram number me Galle dip එක මම චුට්ටක් modify කරා. right? මේ modify කරේ අර දීලා තියෙන transfer price එක actual cost එකට සමාන නිසා. right? දැන් මම transfer price එක 20යි කියලා ගත්තා. මේ alternative. නෑ එතන බලන්න ඕනේ දැන් සිනාරියෝ එක බලන්න කලින් විදිහට ගියා නම් ඒ කියන්නේ 40 ට්‍රාන්ස්ෆර් ප්‍රයිස් තියෙද්දි quantity 40ක් 100ක් හැදුනේ ඒක නැති වෙන්නේ නැහැ right මොකද ඒ වලට තිබුණ කන්ට්‍රිබියුෂන් එක නැති වෙන්නේ ඒගොල්ලෝ 40 වෙලාවේ ට්‍රාන්ස්ෆර් ප්‍රයිස් එක හැදුවේ 100 එතකොට ඒ ප්‍රමාණය තමයි ඒගොල්ලන්ට ඇති වෙන්නේ. දැන් අර තිබුණ කන්ට්‍රිබියුෂන් එක 28 ඉඳලා ඉස්සරහට වුණා. ඒතර යාලා හදාගන්නේ මේ වෙලාවේ තිබුණ සිනාරියෝ එක 100යි. මොකද දැන් 125 සිනාරියෝ එක ඒ වෙලාවේ හදන්නේ නැහැ. ඒ වෙලාවේ 100යි. ඒක මගේ මේක ටිකක් පොඩක් complicated, right? Now then you go ahead with the total actual and make the comparison, right? It is more simple to understand. මේකේ වල ඇක්චුවල් එක හදානවා මේකේ ඇක්චුවල් එක හදන්නේ නැහැ මේ දෙක හැදුවා මෙන්න මේ කම්පැරිසන් එක කරලා 150ක් වැඩි වෙන නිසා උත්තරේ ගන්නවා right then we can move to that setting the transfer price with negotiations right how we can set the transfer price with the negotiation between the transferring division and supply division and the receiving division. අර කලින් ගත්ත example වල වගේ කියන්නේ මෙයාලට එළියෙන් ගන්නත් පුළුවන් එළියට විකුණන්නත් පුළුවන්. ඒ වගේ වෙලාවක මේක අතර මැද තැනකට decide කරන්න පුළුවන්. Right? So it is likely the transfer price will be set by means of negotiation between selling and receiving division. This allows divisional manager to understand each other's problems and come up with an agreement without head office intervention. So that transfer price will be finalized from mixture of accounting information, politics and compromising the divisional dispute may have to resolve via head office intervention. If head office impose transfer policy, it may be demotivating as a result of loss of divisional autonomy. Head office එකට කියන්න පුළුවන් මේ transfer කරන්න කියලා. ඊට වඩා හොඳයි මේ division දෙක negotiate කරලා profit එක share වෙන විදිහට fairly distribute වෙන තැනකට negotiate කරගන්න එක. Right. So transfer pricing system operates by divisional company has potential to make significant contribution towards achievement of corporate financial objective, right? So explain the potential benefits of operating a transfer pricing system within the divisional company. Then company operate two divisions. The makeup theory kata කරලා තියෙනවා දැන්. Take the part B. Company operate two division A and B. A manufacture two product X and Y. Y is sold to external customer 42 per unit. The only outlet for product Y is B. Right? X, Y දෙකක් හදනවා. X external customers කටත් විකුණනවා. ඊට පස්සේ external customer විකුණන්න පුළුවන් 42 වලට. Y internally විතරයි විකුණන්නේ. To B. B supply external market and can obtain semi-finished product Y from either A or external sources. B currently has the opportunity to purchase product Y from external supplier 38. The capacity of division A is measured unit of output irrespective of product X and Y. Combination being manufactured. Again, we interchange produce කරන්න පුළුවන්. Right? Capacity එක unit 1000යි නම් 1000න් X 1000ම හදන්නත් පුළුවන්, Y 1000ම හදන්නත් පුළුවන්, නැත්නම් 500 500 හදන්නත් පුළුවන්. Right? ඒ විදිහට එක වෙනසක් නැහැ. Occasional product cost are as follows. Associate product cost එක දීලා තියෙනවා XY, variable cost, fixed overhead, total cost. Right. මේක diagram එකට දාගමු. මේක මම ගන්නවා දැන්. විනාඩි 3ක් නෑ දැන්. Which has two divisions, A and B. A, B. Product දෙකක් හදනවා. X සහ Y. X A manufacture two product X and Y. X sold to external customer. X හදනවා. එළියට විකුණන්න පුළුවන් 42. Y transfer only to B, right? And B has opportunity to purchase Y. B ට පුළුවන් දැන් මේ Y එකෙන් ගන්නත් පුළුවන්. Can buy Y from outside at 38, right? Then cost information දීලා තියෙනවා. X produce කරන්න variable cost එක යනවා 32. Fixed cost you can ignore, fixed cost unavoidable. Y හදන්න යනවා variable cost එක 35. And I ඕන fixed cost එක දාගමු. fixed cost එක 5 make it 5. Right. Right. Using the above information, provide advice to the determination of appropriate price, transfer price for product Y from division A to B when division A has spare capacity and limited external demand for product X. Product X එකට limited external demand එකක් තියෙනවා. right? X එකට limited external demand එකක් තියෙනවා. right? X වලට limited demand එකක් තියෙනවා. X වලට limited demand එකක් තියෙන්නේ and A has spare capacity. ඒ කියන්නේ අපි හිතමු නිකන් capacity එක ඒකේ 1000ක් තියෙනවා නම් right. එකක් තමයි අපිට බලන්න පුළුවන් දැන් ඉස්සරලාම contribution එක xk x has what contribution from x කීයද x එළියට පුරානේ 42කට externally හදන්න යනවා 31ක් right ඒකට 10ක් තියෙනවනේ division A y ගත්තම y y වල variable cost එක 35යි y වල variable cost එක 35යි දැන් right අපි contribution එක වලට අපි transfer price එක decide කරලා නැහැ right දැන් x එකෙන් y හදන හැම y unit එකටම there is a loss here x has a limited capacity. Limited capacity means අපි හිතමු 1000ක් තියෙනවා නම් total demand x වලින් 400යි demand එක තියෙන්නේ. ඒ කියන්නේ y 600ක් කොහොමද හදන්න පුළුවන්? right? You can produce 600 y and transfer to b. right? Then what should be the transfer price should be charged? ඒක නම් මේක නේද? right? Using the above information, determine the appropriate transfer price. The A has spare capacity and limited external demand for X. And X ආරතියේ 600ක් Y කට දෙන්න පුළුවන්. Then Y ගේ transfer price එක වෙන්න ඕනේ මොකක්ද? Y should X Y variable was 35. එතකොට අනිවාර්යෙන් A අලරින් අහන්නේ transfer price for Y. Minimum they should charge 35 variable cost. 35. B can purchase it from outside 38 too. So B may not willing to pay anything above 38 to A. So the transfer price should be set in between 35 to 38. That is the negotiation in between price. So the minimum transfer price should charge 35, maximum transfer price 38. Then if you set transfer price something like 37, 36, okay. Right? So එතනින් එහාට අපිට කියලා නෑ y මේක හදලා කීයක එළියට විකුණනවාද ඒක කතා නමුත් අපි දන්නවා මේක 35 සහ 38 අතර price එකකට දුන්නොත් B ගන්නවනේ. B ට ලාභයි 38 වලට වඩා අඩු වෙනවා. A ට දෙන්න බෑ 35 වලට වඩා අඩු. because that is the variable. So the transfer price should set in between 35 and 30. Second scenario, when division A operating at full capacity with unsatisfied external demand. ඒ කියන්නේ දැන් ඒට හදන්න පුළුවන් 1000යි. අපි දැනට 1000x හදනවා. 1000x හදනවා. 1000x හදන නිසා අපි යම් විදිහකට y හදනවා නම් ඒකට x අඩු කරන්න වෙනවා. right? එතකොට transfer price for y වෙන්න ඕනේ. right? 35 the variable cost, they should cover opportunity cost. Each produce few product from Y, you are losing a contribution 10 that could have obtained by producing X. ඒ 32කට හදලා 42කට විකුණන එක එක අඩු කරලා තමයි Y එක හදන්නේ. ඒ කියන්නේ මෙයාගේ transfer price එක minimum 35 වෙනවා. right? Minimum for A 35, maximum for B 38. ඒක අතර හරියි. දැන් මෙයාගේ minimum 45. හැබැයි B ගේ maximum වෙනස් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. යාට එළිය 38ට ගන්න පුළුවන්. right? That means in the second scenario it is better that A should not produce Y. Right? Instead, you ask B to buy it from outside 38. It is more profitable to the company. A produce entirely X. Right? මොකද මේ scenario එක match වෙන්නේ නැහැ conflict නේ. මෙයාට 45ටවත් ඉන්දුනේ නැත්තම් Y ඊට පාඩු. ඒ හදාන්න 35ක් යනවා. හදන X එකට Y වල 10 loss එකක් එනවා. Y sales at B. එයාලා කියනවා අපිට minimum 45ක් ඕනේ. හැබැයි මෙයා maximum දෙන්න කැමති 38යි. So that the scenario leads that A should not produce Y and A should produce X and sell to outside and encourage B to buy Y from 38 from outside and continue their match. Okay. Right. So with that, we'll wind up today's discussion.